Hello, people. This is GDG Live. With us is a speaker called Rishit Da- Dudley, and he's going to speak about deploying models with to production with TensorFlow model. Welcome, Rishit. So Rishit is a grade 11 student with a TEDx ed speaker, um, and he wants to share his knowledge with everybody. He mentors at TensorFlow user group, Mumbai, and organize groups with Global AI Mumbai and Kotlin Mumbai, and that is an international speaker. So he also works at Google AI Explore ML as a Google Explore AI ML facilitator, and he is also interested in research and has published multiple research papers on the field of AI and mathematics. So let's welcome Rishit Dudley.
Hi, hi everyone. Hey folks, thanks for coming here. So thanks Ryan for the wonderful introduction. And just before we start with anything, I'd like to tell you that I switched on captions from my end, so you'll see them down a bit under the slides. If you face any problems with the video or audio, feel free to comment it in the YouTube chat. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them on the YouTube chat. So today we'll be talking about deploying your machine learning models and how you can make it and how you can make your first deployment today. Um, so why are we talking about this? Because the bad news is most machine learning models do not get deployed. So let's see numbers. Let's pump up the numbers. 90% of models do not get deployed, and there are quite a lot of reasons for it, a million reasons for it. But in this talk, you'll see how you can simplify deploying machine learning models. Another common misconception I've come across is that modeling is the main part. But well, if you see this image which shows what steps are there in the machine learning pipeline, you'll see that well, modeling is a very tiny part of the complete machine learning pipeline, taking it from collecting the data to production. Machine learning is a very small part. A lot of other steps to do to bring it out into production. And serving is a major part, which is what we'll be looking at today with TensorFlow serving. So in the next 40 minutes, I'll bring you all ready to make your first machine learning model deployment with TensorFlow serving. Also, hang on till the end. This will not be a session where I just tell you things and I just do things in front of you. You'll be able to try these out for yourselves. And let's say you don't want to spend GCP credits to do cloud deployments. I have quick labs credits, quick lab vouchers for all of you. So hang on till the end. I also have Coursera vouchers for all attendees over here. So you can learn more about what I talked today. So hang on till the end. Hi, I'm Rishit Dudley. Uh, Ayan gave a wonderful introduction, but a bit about me. I'm currently a high school student from India. I'm also a TEDx and TEDx speaker. A part of the things listed down here, I've often represented my country on one of your international competitions and hackathons too. I also love research and have published 7 research papers in the field of AI and mathematics. And you can find more about me. My coordinates are all at rishit.tech. So yeah, you can know more about what I do over here. So let's start. Before starting, I'd just like to tell you who the ideal audience would be for this talk. It would majorly be people who have worked with some deep learning models. So if you have made a few deep learning models, could be with Keras too, doesn't matter. If you have made a few deep learning models with Keras or the high level TensorFlow estimator API, this talk is for you. And it would also be for developers who are looking for ways to put their models into a production ready manner. So if you have made a model and well, how do I put it into production? What next? This talk is for you. So I've seen a lot of people asking me, why do I really need to worry about machine learning deployments? I guess some of you might have the same question. Why do I worry about machine learning deployments? Let's make a fully blown model and I'm pretty much done. So this is a very accurate representation of the ideal scenario. Your model works well or does a good job in the testing or development set. And when you bring it out into the real world of production, that is when problems start coming and things start failing. When you bring it out into a production environment, you need to have a resilient pipeline to serve your model and an efficient way to pass data and give your users what they want. Have minimum latencies, multiple model versions, a lot more. There's a lot more to this. So let's take a look at that. And you might now have been convinced that, okay, I really need um, a proper process to do machine learning model deployments. And yeah, there's a lot of debate about can I put a Jupyter notebook into production? Well, you can put a Jupyter notebook into production, but I would not advise you to do so. So let's talk a bit about what are the things you should be caring about while deploying your machine learning models. So first, of course, you want to get the model and package it in a way that you can use in your production environment. So again, you ideally would not put a Jupyter notebook in the same format into production. Then you'd want to host your model on some cloud hosted server or server in general, so your users can use it and provide them the model. Now that you have posted your model on a cloud hosted server, well, you'd also need to maintain it. One of the main things which I refer to while saying you need to maintain the server where, yeah, where you are storing the model or from where you are serving the model to your users is auto scaling. You should be able to handle your users if you experience an increase in the number of users. So my hardware, sure, this would also require you to increase your resources or your hardware. You should be well equipped to do so. Hopefully, you have many users and from all around the world. So you would also want to ensure global availability. And these are just a few points, which are the most common ones. But that's not it. You need to make sure your users have a minimum server latency. They get the responses almost instantaneously. So they and there's a lot more to take care of. You need to maintain your model versions and so on. After all of this, you also need to provide a way for your model to interact with your users. So most probably what you would do in this case is have a REST API or use RPC. We'll come to that. But most probably you would need to provide an API to work with. So the user facing application can simply call the API, send the data, and receive some inferences or outputs from the model. This was pretty self-explanatory, but you also need to maintain the API, make sure the API is up and running all times. Again, so tomorrow when you make an update to the model, let's say you make a cool update to the model, you need to ensure your users get the latest version of the model. And we'll talk in great detail about how you should be maintaining, how you should be doing model versioning efficiently and so on in some time. So first off, before we get to TensorFlow serving, what TF serving is all about, I want to show you an inefficient way to deploy machine learning models. Yeah, you heard me right. An inefficient way to deploy machine learning models. Um, well, the process which I'll be showing, the code which I'll be showing, code would be a better way to frame it, um, might do the work, but I'll tell you why it's inefficient and why you should be using TF serving in the first place. So how many of you here are using Flask to deploy your machine learning models? I guess a lot of you have worked with Flask, to deploy a machine learning models. So here is a very simple setup for a Flask API, and I create an endpoint called classify and take in the data from user. So so I have a form on my web page, a simple example, which has a field called feedback. So I take in the user data from that form. I pre-process the data through some function and then do a simple model.predict on it. And whatever I get, I will send it back as a JSON. A ton of logs point out that this is the right way to do model deployments. And I guess some of you might have also worked with model deployments yourself using Flask. But according to me, this is an inefficient way. This is an inefficient way uh, to do model deployments. Well, you're for the first thing, you're essentially inconsistent. If I wanted, I could simply create a model with a completely different API structure, different API standards, different payloads. So if I also see, I have nothing following a standard process in this piece of code with Flask, and is a bit inconsistent. You need to manage the model versioning all by yourself and maintain a proper versioning process too. And at the end of the day, what I also want to use is mini batching, or, um, or do inference on batches. I want to use my precious hardware as optimally as possible. So at the end of the day, I also want to do mini batching. And none of this is actually supported with Flask. And maybe by all of this, you already have a good enough idea that it's pretty inefficient for huge models. You do not want to run out of memory or so. Okay, so you okay, so now I hope you have a question, which is okay, Rishad. You told me why how the Flask setup is inconsistent and so on. But well, what should I use then? Okay, so what should I do? Let's take a look at TensorFlow Serving now, and you'll see opposed to the Flask setup which we just did, it's a lot more easier to do, a lot more consistent, and allows you to have a lot of capabilities, which we'll soon come to. But a bit about TensorFlow Serving before. TensorFlow Serving is essentially a part of the TensorFlow extended ecosystem. So I hope all of you here know about TensorFlow extended or have heard about it earlier. So TensorFlow extended is a set of tools which allow you to put your model into a production ready manner. It has a couple of things. It allows you to do data validation. It has TensorFlow transform, uh, and also you have model analysis, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. But today we'll be focusing on TensorFlow serving. So yeah, let's take a look at that. So yeah, you just saw TensorFlow serving is a part of the TensorFlow extended ecosystem. TensorFlow serving is also fire tested at Google. It is used internally for deployments at Google, and yeah, it's fire tested at Google. And maybe you already got a good idea about this point, but it makes deployment a lot easier. So, so we'll take a look at how you can go about with TensorFlow serving, how you bring this out into practice, and how you can try it out for yourself. Um, so let's take a look at the process, and we'll go in a step-by-step manner. So tomorrow, when you want to do this for your own models, you can do it very easily. So first off, what I need to do is save my model in a save my model, or essentially saying export my model. So with in the TensorFlow 2.0 ecosystem or 2.x ecosystem, you use you use the saved model format. What this and you can simply save your model in the saved model format just using the dot save method. You have a couple of more options and attributes. You can look them up in the documentation. But yeah, uh, in the seed model format, if someone doesn't know about it, uh, your graph definitions uh, for the model are essentially saved as protocol buffer formats, or as you might call it, as you might be aware of it, protobuf formats. So let's take a look at what the saved model format is. So once you do this, you will essentially get this kind of directory, which I like to call as the saved model directory. And your model will be timestamped and saved. So yeah, I'll have the timestamp with which my model is saved. I essentially have these three noticeable things in the directory over here. So first off, I have this assets folder, which contains auxiliary files. So it could be vocabularies or so on, which would be stored in your assets file. A thing to note over here is there can also be an extra assets folder. So we have this assets folder over here. There can also be a folder called extra assets, where higher level libraries can be stored, and users can add their own assets too. So yeah, saved model pretty much covers you for a lot of things. You can also add your own assets if needed, and these assets coexist with the model, but are not loaded by the graph. The subfolder, also a note, if you are adding some extra assets over here, this subfolder will not be managed by the save model libraries. So yeah, if you plan on adding one, keep this thing in, keep this as a note. You also have the variables folder over here, which will simply contain the model variables, something like weights and so on. And this is a shorted file. So uh, so these question marks over here might have numbers like 1 of 10 or 2 of 10 and so on. So these are sharded files. They'll contain the variables, could be my weights. And finally the protocol buffer format, which stores the thing which I'm most interested in, the graph itself. So this includes the graph definitions as the metagraph def protocol buffers. And yeah, this is a file where my graph is essentially stored. So you don't need to know a lot about how all of these work in the background. You can simply save, you can simply have this as a save and get started using it. So let's talk about TensorFlow Serving and how do you go about it. So, so I have this piece of code which essentially lets you start the deployment process, but don't get intimidated by this code. We'll take it line by line, and you'll understand each bit of it. So first off, I oh yeah, before I move any forward, I just noticed I had that TensorFlow model server here and felt it would be worth a mention. Um, this is you would need to install the TensorFlow model server CLI, which is as a CLI command. So you can simply look up the TensorFlow model server installation instructions. They are pretty straightforward, and you can simply follow them. Right? Yeah, you need. I'll expect you to have installed the TensorFlow model server. So first off, I have no hub TensorFlow model server. Just telling it, okay, you need to start off. Next up, what I also want to show you over here is I have a REST API port, which I've put as 8501, which is essentially the port from where I'll be doing my inferences or sending my data for inference. And here is where the TensorFlow model server will also be running, of course. And you might be seeing over here a particular syntax, which is a REST API port is equal to 8051, 8501, sorry. So if you're wondering, does this support gRPC? I have some payload heavy models, and I really need to use gRPC. Yeah, it supports gRPC. you can also you work with gRPC on port 8500. So TensorFlow model server again has got you covered. And yeah, we'll take a look at how to use the gRPC protocol for making inferences, how to use the REST protocol for making inferences in a later stage of this talk. But for now, you can take me. It supports both REST and gRPC. So as of now, I'm just specifying it to use REST and sync the port 8501. Next up, I have a model name. So pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain something over here. I've just specified a sample model name, which is test. I could not come up with a better model name, but well, here it is. So just came up with a simple model name called test. And yeah, the URL which you will be serving to or sending your data to will also have the model name. So yeah, just a mention. And finally, I have done all of this, but let's finally give TF serving the model itself. So I'll just specify the model directory, which will be my saved model directory. So remember the saved model directory we just made. So the model dir over here will be my saved model directory. So, okay, let me go to the previous slide first. Um, if you're wondering, do I need to mount my file system? I have a huge model which is in the cloud, which is in a cloud bucket. Well, you can use it very simply with TensorFlow Serving. Um, so, yeah, so TensorFlow Serving does not force you to mount the file system itself. So you can just, instead of the model-based path, which is a mounted file system, you can just specify something like a bucket on GCP. So you can just say GS bucket and the model path, and it will automatically fetch the model from there from there. A thing to note over here is that it's also um, it it also supports other cloud providers. So this code will also be S3 bucket. So if you have an S3 bucket, this works in the exact same manner. You would just specify the credentials first, which would be used to access the bucket, and in the model-based path, just put in the bucket path. Again, that's pretty easy to do. So now at this stage, I want you to see that, well, I did not write a single line of code for the model serving part. After making the model, I did not write a single line of code. These were just bash commands. Um, and with no line of code written, no code, you have you have one endpoint fully functioning and ready to serve from. So isn't that pretty cool what you can do with TensorFlow serving? I wrote no code. I have one endpoint ready to serve the model to my users. I feel that's pretty cool. Uh, what TensorFlow serving also allows you to do is that I showed you an example for a single model. TensorFlow serving can help you deploy multiple models too. So you can have multi-model config too. But well, you don't want to deploy multiple models in a single container. So yeah, so I have not shown an example of that because in most cases you don't want to deploy multiple models in a single container. But it's good to know that TensorFlow serving allows you to do that. It also allows you to give labels to versions. So instead of remembering the version name, which model to load and serve, you can simply give labels to the model versions. We'll soon see how model versions work out. But yeah, at this stage, I want you to know that you can also give labels to the model versions. Another thing which is pretty cool, considering I told you that you can use a GS bucket or a S3 bucket, is um, in terms of model versioning again. I have a new model. I put it in my bucket, and well, that's it. TensorFlow Serving will automatically detect my new model, deploy the model, and I would not even have to restart my service. It will do everything under the hood for me. I would not even have to restart my service. So I think that's again pretty cool. So let's take a look at the inference part now. We talked about starting the model server, but how do you actually make the inferences? Let's talk about this. So for inferences, you have consistent APIs. So my API URLs would be pretty consistent. I would have a pretty consistent procedure for them, pretty consistent URLs for them. So again, it's super helpful. As I told you, it supports gRPC and REST both simultaneously. So I can have these two endpoints very easily simultaneously with TensorFlow Serving. And another thing which I want you to take a look at over here is that this is a very common mistake. So I thought it was really worth a mention in the inference. I make mistakes in this part sometimes. So you would essentially pass in a list of lists and not just lists. What this means is I would essentially have my data pass in something like this, lists of lists. I hope that makes sense. Let's take a look at the URLs. Remember me telling you super consistent APIs with TensorFlow serving. Let's take a look at them now. So let's first take a look at inferencing with REST, and then we'll take a look at gRPC and how you can use it. So I essentially get JSON responses from this, and I can also specify a particular version. So let's say I want my model version 2 to be running. I can specify that I want my model version 1 to be running for a particular application. I can very easily specify that. We'll see how you can specify the model versions explicitly soon. But if you have specified no model version, you can TensorFlow Serving will take up the latest model and serve it to you. So yeah, here's the default URL. Before I go to how to specify the model versions in the URL, here's the default URL. Uh, as we just saw on previous slides, my it will be serving on port 8501, and also see over here that I have my model name is test. So remember I told you that your model name would essentially be there in the URL with which you serve. So here's it. Yeah, so I have the port and the model name over here. And as you can see over here, I also can specify a particular version. So I can have this model version over here and specify a particular version to TensorFlow serving to. So that was about the URL which you use to serve your models or get inferences from your models. Let's take a look at a simple code which you would use to do the inference. I've used a sample URL over here. I want to take up the latest model. I've not specified the model version explicitly, so I can simply do a post. I can simply run a post command, send my data as list of lists, and well, that's pretty much it. With TensorFlow serving, it allows you to do inferences very easily. I also have a fully functioning endpoint, which is pretty resilient too. Uh, so that was about inferencing with REST. Let's say you want to do inferences with gRPC. So a lot of times I get this question that, okay, what should I be using, REST or gRPC? So I would say REST is pretty easy to get started with. It has a lot easier process. So if you are looking to do something very quickly, you should be using REST. You can access it from anywhere. Just put it in a just put the URL in a web browser and you're good to go. But if you're looking for more efficient ways to do your inferences, gRPC is the right choice for you. So yeah, gRPC has better connections to the server, so you would essentially end up doing faster and more efficient inferences. So first off, why does this happen? Why do I get more efficient, uh, more efficient responses with gRPC? So I would first be using a gRPC stub to a gRPC stub to connect with the server, and then I have some RPC methods through which I can infer. This also makes it more redundant than the REST approach which we just saw, and it's also faster and efficient due to the thing that when you are sending data with gRPC, it's you also need to have a designated type. So it will be me saying, okay, this is a float, or okay, this is an integer, and so on. I need to have that specific types. So what that means is the server does not have to figure out the data structures, because under the hood, what this does is it essentially converts to TF example records. So, so having a designated data type would be a lot better. Also, your payloads would be converted into base64 formats. So, uh, again, inferencing with gRPC is not something which I would like to show over here. It is a bit more of a code than I would like to show in this talk. But at the end of this talk, I'll be sharing a GitHub repository with you, which will have examples for how to use gRPC too. So of course, it has examples for the for REST inferences, which we just saw, but I also have instructions and the gRPC code which you will be using. So you can give that you can uh, check that out too. So another cool thing which I want to talk about, and is pretty helpful by the way, is TF serving allows you also provides you a way to know about the meta information about the models. So if you know about meta information, the folks who know here about meta information might just think, oh wow, this is really wonderful, and it's pretty helpful. So you can know the model meta information for a particular model, let's say. So it gives me info about the model inputs, model outputs, and a lot more. A description of the model, the author of the model, and the which license the model is made available, the signatures of the model, and a lot more. So this is pretty useful if you want to do model tracking, especially in telemetry systems. This proves to be pretty useful in those cases. So let's take a look at how do you get the model meta information. So this is exactly the same URL which we took a look at. I've specified the model name, the model version, my host, the port, the new thing which I've specified over here. And what I want you to take a look at is slash metadata. So you just put the slash metadata in front of it, and you would essentially get the metadata, which would have input output input outputs, input output shapes, signatures, data structures. Very helpful. So that's how easy it is to get the model meta information. So you can also do some pretty basic A/B testing with this. You can have this on the client side and do some pretty basic A/B testing with this too. So at the start, remember I had shown you the Flask example and told you that, okay, this is inconsistent and so on. So the folks who have used Flask at this stage might tell me, well, Rishad, this was pretty cool. You showed me a lot less code, but I could do this with Flask. Yeah, well, you could do this with Flask, but just as you saw, with TensorFlow Serving, the code is there's the process is a lot more easier. You have consistency in the model versioning and how you are deploying your models. So uh, that's about it. But the next thing which I'll be showing you can not be done with Flask. Even with well, you can do it with Flask, but you need to write a lot of code. I have personally not tried it. Tried doing batch inferences with Flask, but I can just expect that you'd take a pretty large amount of code to do batch inferences or mini batching with Flask. So let's take a look at how TensorFlow Serving helps you out. And with TensorFlow Serving, mini batching or batch inferences is out of the box for you. Uh, and this is, at the end of the day, this is also what you want to do, because I want to use my hardware efficiently for making the inferences. This would also allow me to save costs and compute resources, so I can use my hardware efficiently. What this does is, instead of doing something like I send a request, the server runs the model, does the stuff, returns me a response. Instead of that, what I do is I take in a couple of requests. So I'll take in requests till a specified number. Let's say I want to take in 5 requests as an example, just an example. Uh, and then what I'll do is I'll process them at once and send out the responses. Or I could do something like take in requests uh, until I am until a specified number of requests, and then just process them and send them back. So yeah, this also works super great for large models, and um, yeah, it's just provided out of the box with TensorFlow Serving. So let's take a look at how you would be doing this in practice. So you would essentially start by configuring a batching parameters file, and you can specify some optimizations over here. I've included a couple of optimizations on the slides over here too. So first off, what I have over here, pretty useful again, is I can do stuff like polling for new models. So my model is in a GCP bucket or an Amazon S3 bucket. Uh, by default, TF model serving would check in the bucket every 2 seconds or so on. And that can occur me a lot of costs, because I'm essentially doing a list command on the bucket. So that can give me a huge amount of cost. Um, so I can specify after what time should I be polling for new models, and that can save some costs. I can also specify uh, the threads per TensorFlow session I want to run, or the number of cores used by TensorFlow serving. So you have a lot of things to optimize over, in this stage. And I will consider you to give a look at it. So once I make this batching parameters.txt file, I just need to make these two changes with it. These two changes with the command I used to use TensorFlow serving. I'll just specify the batching parameters file, and I'll just say, okay, you need to enable batching. As simple as that. So with that, I have told you all about how you can use TensorFlow serving, how you can do inferences with it. I'll also like to tell you about what you should also take a look at. Before I go on to this, folks who have worked with non-TensorFlow models and are looking to deploy them, um, that is a bit out of the scope for today, but I can tell you a bit about it. You can simply use Onyx, which is an exchange format for machine learning models and has its own runtime engine. So you can very easily use that too. Well, it also supports PyTorch models. So if that's what you were wondering. So with that, I would also love it if you could take a look at Kubeflow deployments, which allows you to, if you're making entire machine learning end-to-end pipelines, doing some sophisticated A/B testing, this is a wonderful package I would be recommending you. Another package to use with Kubeflow, which I also recommend, is Istio for doing wonderful A/B testing of models and model routing. It's essentially used to route model traffic between web containers, and you can uh, use it very easily for model routing with Kubeflow. You can also take a look at data pre-processing on the server. So there might be some folks here who use TensorFlow Transform, and this is pretty cool. It's a wonderful package. What you can do with it is convert your pre-processing steps as a graph and connect them to the model itself with TensorFlow Serving. Um, with TensorFlow Serving, you would then deploy them as a bundle to prevent misalignment. So I'm essentially offloading all of my pre-processing steps to the server. So the client does not need to care about doing the pre-processing himself. And this is pretty cool. I recommend you to take a look at. You also have AI platform predictions, which makes it pretty easy. And I'll not be discussing about this. I have a couple of demos which you can try after this talk with the GitHub repository and with the GitHub repository. So I'll be sharing that. You can also take a look at edge devices. So today we talked about deploying on web servers, and sometimes you want to deploy it on your mobile itself, do the run the models on the mobile itself. So you can also take a look at deployment on edge devices. If you are interested in doing that, well, here's my DevFest schedule, and I'll be talking about edge deployments in at other DevFest too. You can find me over there and take a look at it. With that, now I would like to quickly share uh, the free quick labs credits as I promised. So so this is the URL which you'll be going to for the free quick labs credits. You'll get 1 month of free access to quick labs, and once you for the ML infrastructure study jam, so you could practice all what I talked about today and also work with AI platform and not incur any costs. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And yeah, take a look at this URL, which is right over here, rishit.tech/quicklabs-offer. So I'll also be pasting this in the chat right now. So this URL will uh, help you do everything. It will help you know how you can avail the offer and so on. So take a look at this URL. With that, I also have a couple of cool demos, but since I'm running out of time, uh, I will not be showing those demos live over here. I'm a bit over time. So yeah, but this is a GitHub repository for the talk. Um, you, I would love if there's this one URL you need to go back to, it will be this GitHub repository. So take a look at this GitHub repository, which has everything we talked about today. I'll again be pasting it in the chat. I also have good, easy to understand, pretty elegant examples for TF serving for you. With that, I come to the end of this talk, and if I have time and there are any questions, I would love to take them. So first off, do I have the time to take questions? Um, okay, I'll just go forward for now, since I'm a bit about the maximum time. Uh, Thank you everyone for coming here. I hope you learned something from this session. If you have any questions, want to continue the discussion, feel free to ping me on any of these social medias or any other social media you find me on. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishit, for that. That was an amazing, amazing session. Thank you. Let me just share a few of the things. Has everybody received the Coursera link? Okay, if you still haven't received or you can't open it, please leave a comment and then we can sort that out. Thank you, Rishad. Hello and welcome to GDG Nairobi, Kenya. And today we're having a speaker who I'd like for her to introduce herself. She has a really interesting topic to talk about, called charity and joy. Let me just add you. You guys can introduce yourselves and make us feel engaged. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayan. Joy, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. Hi, Mercy. So I'll just share my screen right now. Just a second. Let me just find where this is. Just a second, guys. Okay. Mercy, please confirm you can see my screen. Mercy?
Not yet. Ayan, please help us confirm that can be seen.
No worries. I think I know why. Let me just sort that out. Just a tiny bit of a second. Okay.
Hi.
Good.
If you'd like to share the screen, probably you could just click on the button close to invite. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. I have. I'm just trying to find the exact, because I'm using two monitors, so I'm trying to find the exact monitor, and I just found that. So, okay. All right. You should be seeing something saying it's loading. Master, can you see that?
Yeah, sure, I can see it.
Yeah.
Just to confirm what the issue is. Some on the side. Okay, so we're good. I guess we're good to start. We can. Master, we can kick off. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Joy, we're good.
Okay, thanks guys for joining us. This session is like super important to Cherito and myself because we really have like we have in-depth insights, and we are like at the forefront of these things, and that's why we know that we thought that, okay, why not bring this knowledge to the large dev first community. So the title of our session is What Not to Do as You Build Your Developer Career in 2021. So please sit back, and it promises to be a very exciting session. And just for like heads up, we have like really cool giveaways at the end. You just have to like make sure you answer our questions correctly, and then you would win yourself that. All right. Awesome. So just before we proceed, let's like introduce ourselves and like get to know, let you know who we are. My name is Joy, and I work with the Andela Talent Partnership Team. So I sort of like help coordinate developer programs for the ALC, and ALC is the Andela Learning Community. That's what we do. And then I have been with Andela for about almost going to a year and a half, but previously my background is in like marketing as well as communications. So that's me. Messi, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Definitely, Joy, and thanks for kicking us off. My name is Mercy, mostly go by Cheruta. I work with Joy at Andela, running the developer programs. I believe if anyone has been part of the ALC, the guards program, probably we've interacted in one way or another. And we are really excited to share some of our learnings while we are running these developer programs, what we've seen, and how this could help you build your career better. I know we have a number of people here who are part of this program, some who are not part of them. I hope this is going to be a session that's going to help you choose whether you should be more proactive. So yeah, I think that's basically what I do in a nutshell, as I mentioned. And also, I do have a background in software development. So I've been working with Andela, running the developer programs for about 2 years plus right now. And I think this is going to be a really great session.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcy. So you've heard it. We are like we would like to call ourselves experts because we've run like a series of cycles of developer programs. So we know the ins and outs of everything that we believe you should know. So next would be, I want to just like take us through the goal of this session. And while designing what to speak on this session, we thought to align it to 3 goals that we know will be beneficial to you guys. So the first is we want to share tips and tricks that could shape you on how you can grow your developer career. Number 2 is we want to explore the benefits of developer program opportunities. And number 3, we want to highlight categories of developers and help you identify the best category that would work for you. So that's the goal. And we hope that by the end of this session, you'd be able to like meet all these goals and achieve all these goals in a nutshell. Okay, so thank you, the DevFest Kenya team, for this opportunity. We really, really do appreciate it. It's more like a year that we've been looking forward to doing this, and we really appreciate you guys for doing this for us. So now to the main event. Amasi, over to you.
Okay, so as per our session, and what you've seen on the topic would be what you should not do as you plan to build a developer career in 2021. This is just based off the learnings that we've seen. As we mentioned, we've interacted with thousands of developers in Africa. We have a wider insight from other countries' point of view, and also the data that we are seeing in Kenya. And we are going to just highlight the case studies that we do have. And I'm just going to start by highlighting what we think you should not do as you plan to keep building your developer career in 2021. So the first line item, that will be the first thing that I really believe, and we do believe in, is being a lifelong learner. Never think that you know it all. Take every day, spare time to keep learning. There's definitely 1 or 2 things that you can learn every single day. So if you block, say 1-2 hours, even 20 minutes to learn something new every day, I promise you it's going to go a long way as you proceed in your career. On to the next item, that would be, don't stop testing your skills and your skill level. So that would be, for developers, especially when you're starting out, I believe, when you build your first, say, app, and it works really well, probably you might get to a point that you feel like you do really well and you are a pro, but, never stop testing your skills. Work on side projects that help you just, test what you are learning. As you keep learning, test it using side projects. Also normalize, algorithm test and maximizing the opportunities that are out there. I know HackerRank could be a very great place that you could even do that. And we do partner with ProSite in one of our programs, and what we've seen work really well, and something that has been able to help devs test their skill sets, would be ProSite Skill IQ assessment. So they do have skill IQ assessments for all, or rather most, tech stacks stroke maybe languages. So maximize such opportunities, which would be free, I believe. Also, HackerRank, you are able to do that for free. So don't stop testing your skill levels. The next item would be Joy. I think your screen. Yeah. So another thing would be, don't be a stranger. Keep being in touch with your community. I've seen a number of people who have grown through communities. I myself have grown through communities, and I think through communities, you get opportunities, you get to network and meet new people, and no man is an island. So don't be a stranger in the ecosystem. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you do, because that's the way that's going to help you get more opportunities and grow your career. Okay, to the next, that's the major one and big for us that we've seen impact through this, right? So don't ignore developer program opportunities. Every single day we see a lot of opportunities out there. I can say 4-5 years ago, these opportunities were not there. And right now we do have access to these programs that most of them are actually free. And it's an opportunity for us to maximize these, to get opportunities to learn, get opportunities to skill up, get opportunities to interact with the wider developer ecosystem, and just keep growing our career. I think that this has been a major thing that we've seen. And today, what we want to even focus more on, giving context, giving info from what we've learned would be on developer program opportunities. Okay, so as I mentioned, so what we've seen and what I can say for sure is the benefit of joining these developer programs would be one. I think this has been something that we've really seen through these programs. We've seen different types of developers that we're even going to talk about today, right? And how you can change that or maximize the opportunities out there. So one thing that these developer programs would help you know is the type of developer that you are. Another thing would be access to a wider range of learning resources. So I know, everyone knows, probably Google is your friend and you just go Googling how to do something when you want to learn, but also these developer programs give you an opportunity to access even learning resources that are paid for that you could get for free. Another thing would be building your network. I would say, even from a point of view whereby I do manage these programs, I've met a lot of awesome individuals, and even the participants that we've seen get to network, meet new people, and that's definitely something that goes a long way for them. And also growing your profile and career. So those are the main 4 line items that I can highlight from, the developer program and these opportunities, how they can help you. Okay, so I'll let Joy take us through the type of devs that we've seen in the ecosystem. Joy, please take it away.
Awesome. This is a very important segment for me because we've seen them and we've been able to streamline them to just 4 types. And we hope that you can identify your personality, rather your character among these types, these categories of developers. So the first for us that we've seen will be just a second. The solo developers. They are by themselves. They are achievers by themselves. They don't talk to anyone. They just do their thing. We call it do it for the gram developers. They just appear and disappear. They also have they have no time to procrastinate. These ones, they are like the go-getters. They just get right at it. And then we also have those that are in touch with their community, those that like to help other people, those that like to support others. So those are the 4 categories of developers we have in developer programs. So it doesn't mean like the general types of developers, just like people that we've seen that have come through all our programs. So we have been able to categorize them into 4 segments, and we will now let you know which category we see are the ones that are like the super beneficial ones. Mercy will now. Okay, so while we now like an actual case study, Mercy will now take us through like an actual developer program and then give you all the benefits, stats, and things that success stories that we've seen for this in this particular program. Mercy.
Yeah, and even before I start talking about that, I'd say, a quick challenge to someone out there is which dev are you, right? do you just do it for the gram and or Twitter for this case, just join the program and you just share that you're part of this and don't end up even completing? Or are you the person that maximizes these opportunities and sees it through, maximizes the fact that they have access to a wider community, wider support? I think that's a challenge. And I would say when you join and you're part of something, I think the only thing that you can give is your all. So that's the only way that's going to benefit you. So I'll talk about a program that's closer to my heart. And as we talk about this, we are in DevFest, and the GDG community has grown over time, I believe. And one of the programs that we do partner with Google on is the Google Africa Developer Scholarship Program, which we've partnered with Google on for a while now. And we've been able to deliver impact in the wider Africa ecosystem. And we do see, and interact with thousands of learners. And in this case, I would say, currently in the current program, that's the 2020 program, we've interacted with over 30,000 learners in Africa, or rather developers in Africa. This has been really great, especially during the tough times like this, which is like COVID has been a huge restriction to number of people meeting and doing stuff. But this has worked really well for people who are now working from home, have more time to just put in time to learn. So we've definitely seen a number of participants from Africa. And I just want to give an insight into what we see in even the Google Africa Developer Scholarship Program. And I'll just start by just sharing info, for instance. So one thing that I can say for sure, over the past 2 years, the programs that we've done, I can say for a fact, we tend to see participants from Nigeria standing out. And this could be because they have a higher population or something. But also, we looked into the data again and looked deeper into, how do participants from Kenya do? And I can say, the acceptance rate for developers in Kenya into our programs is about 13 to 15% out of the overall people who are accepted into the program, which is quite low, but also depends on, how many developers do we actually have in Kenya. So other countries definitely have higher, but we still see Kenya being one of the top countries that have many devs joining these programs. So, and when we talk about the conversion rate in terms of, how many Kenyans actually join the program and complete the program. And what I can say for sure is we've seen, a very high conversion rate, which would be, we get about 13 to 15, and about 20% of them end up being among the ones that complete the programs or even get these opportunities post-program to get certified and stuff like that, which is a very good and great insight. So I think that for that, I can just applaud the developer ecosystem in Kenya that's really growing. And it means, we are yet to see like this ecosystem really grow. As they say, the time for Africa is now. So probably the time for Kenya is like now, right? So the other case study that I wanted to just share would be, who do we interact with and what have we seen? Like, what benefits have we seen based on the data, right? So we do interact with students, full-time devs, have people who are part-time devs, people who are freelancers, people who are unemployed. And when we see, a number of these people, when they do the program, they're really enthusiastic about it. And everyone joins the program for with something in mind, right? If this is a learning opportunity for you, definitely that's something that you're going to maximize and focus on. And what I can say for sure is we've seen a very high conversion rate in people who are full-time full-time roles as software developers, which is really great. What does this mean? It means most of these devs that join and have other full-time jobs as software developers are most likely joining these programs because they want to learn more, right? They want to get opportunities through the program, and definitely they do get it. And what we've seen for sure is when we get this, when we collect stories based on people who complete the program, and as we've seen, the highest percentage of them would be the ones that have full-time employment and are software engineers. And we see that, through these programs, they're able to get opportunities. These opportunities that we've seen would be, and Joy will be speaking more into, the scenarios that we've seen and sharing some of those would be, we've seen people who got promotion because, their skill sets have improved. Some people even get salary increase. Some people get new job opportunities that, it means a career growth for them. So I think that's something that's worth looking into and worth saying, I have a full-time job, yes, but I think it's worth it dedicating time to maximize these opportunities and learn more, keep improving yourself, because that's the only way that, you're going to keep scaling up and not being stuck. Yeah, Joy, you can go to the next item.
So just as Messi mentioned, Messi, I actually like how you cover the whole opportunities. So guys, like we're not playing when we say that the opportunities are like countless. We've seen like we've even seen people get investment. Like we've seen people get funding for their project. We've seen people get like Messi said, new jobs. People have even switched careers. People have been able to like adapt that remote structure. Then people have even gotten fellow colleagues that they started companies together. So we've seen all of that from all of these developer stories. So like they say, seeing is believing. So we want to like highlight some of the success stories that we've seen from developer programs. So just stay tuned. We have a video clip, and then we also have just basically quotes and pictures. Just a second. As we confirm, you can see my screen again. Okay, this doesn't.
I can't. It's a white screen.
Okay, let me just go back and share this.
We can't see your screen. Okay, it's loading. There you go.
Yes, Mercy.
It's still a white screen, just in case.
Oh my apologies for that. Mercy, do you want to play it from your own end?
Okay. Maybe you can stop sharing your screen, and then I'll just pull that up.
Okay.
Yeah. As I do that. As I do that, Joy, probably you can just go over the next item.
Hi.
Okay.
Have you managed to share it? I could help you.
Okay, let me Mercy, let me share with you so you can share with him.
All right. And then probably when you're sharing, you could pick the audio. I don't know if you'd like to share your entire screen, application, or Chrome tab.
Master, that's up to you to decide. Just figure out how you want to share it, but clearly it's not coming through from my end. Okay, so Messi, I've dropped it right here. So you can
Okay.
just
Yeah. I'll just do a Chrome tab.
All right, and then when you're sharing on Chrome tab, probably you could select the audio as well on the left bottom.
Okay, cool. Let me do that.
All right, let me add it. Is it there? Okay. Once I see it, I should be able to add it to the screen.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. Probably this is just taking a minute.
Yeah, it's okay. So in case you have any questions, feel free to post them on the chat, and we'll be sure to answer them.
Okay. In the meantime, as I share this, Joy, I saw a question from YouTube. Someone is asking how we share opportunities and where we share them.
Okay, so for all our community members, and basically our community members are made up of people who have at one time participated in our program. All they simply have to do is we have newsletters that we share to them. We also have a community platform, and it's ALC community.alc@andela.com. So that's our community platform, but it's only accessible to members of our own community. So that's they're the only ones that can actually get it. Just a second, let me see how I can something. Sorry guys, we just really wanted to show you like actual video testimonials of people who have gone through our programs and are like reaping the benefits.
Yeah. I don't know if you've been able to get it.
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen.
Ah, nice.
Okay, so
when you go to share, then you could click on the Chrome tab in case on the Chrome tab, and then you could pick the audio so that they're able to both hear the video together with the audio.
Okay, so Chrome tab. Okay, oh yeah, I found that option.
Perfect. I can actually see it. Let me add it to the stream. I don't know if it's ready yet. You could pick on the video that you want.
Please confirm.
All right. Is the video okay? Alternatively, I don't know. Maybe the video is it on your local machine?
Sorry, could you hear the video?
I can hear you. Oh no, I think I'll have to add it first. Let me. I've added it, but you need to select the video. Yeah, because when I add this one,
what can you see
I'm
currently?
only seeing. I'm seeing our entire screen. Probably if you play the video on your desktop, because right now you're just sharing. Okay.
Okay, so I know what happened. Probably I needed to just have a completely.
Yeah, but there's no problem. I think it's perfectly okay.
It's okay. So please confirm that it's the correct one now.
Let me see. Yes,
I
it is the
forgot
correct
to
one.
add. Sorry, I forgot
The
to
audio.
add the audio. Yeah.
No problem. Will be a good.
Okay, I think we have 5 minutes left. Okay.
All right, I've added it. You could play it. We see if there's audio. Nice, perfect.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Tawarar. I'm from Kenya. I'm enrolled in the GADS program under the Mobile Web Specialist track. I'm so grateful for my teammates and mentors, first of all, just for being there and for pushing me and encouraging me to become a better developer. I'm also grateful for Pluralsight because through their content, I've been able to know where I stand as a web developer, and I'm able to update my knowledge in the skill sets that I've been able to acquire. I'm just so grateful for God's investing in me and all of us and helping us make something good out of such a crazy time as now. I just hope and pray that I'll be able to pay back by becoming a better developer and also through implementing solutions that will make Africa a better place and my community a better place. So thank you.
Hi, I am Chinwe Onichi and I am about to be Google certified. Yes. So I was always a fan of the cloud, but I had absolutely no idea what the cloud was about and its superpowers. I am so excited beyond words to be selected for the GATS 2020 Associate Cloud Engineer Scholarship. And to keep up with my learning experience, I've been able to devote 1 hour each day to enjoy the course content and almost done diving in for the second round. Course delivery with Google has been awesome. Trust me, I will have it no other way. I am so appreciative and thankful to Andela, Google, and Pluralsight for affording me the opportunity to have this learning experience. Cheers.
Right, so that pretty much shows you we're so happy about the continuous testimonials we keep getting from the programs. We don't only have videos, we have like loads of text testimonials of people whose lives have completely changed, and that's just to show you that the possibilities are really, really endless. And then we recommend that you indeed take advantage of any, it doesn't just have to be Andela led or even Google led, any developer program that you are opportune to see, please, 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 please get involved with it, as it keeps on building your profile, it keeps on building your knowledge base, and then you really don't know, you really don't know what you will get at the end of it, but it's definitely something absolutely positive. So I think that brings us to a close on our session. Mercy, we're cool.
Yeah, we can just look over the comments and see if we have any questions or follow-up,
Yeah.
and then...
Sure. I'm joined here together with Charity, and we should be able to get for you the questions. Christopher is saying that, do you have a breakdown on the gender? I'm not really sure exactly what he means, but probably in the selection. Yeah. So do you have any breakdown on gender, or probably the numbers you're mentioning?
Yeah, definitely. I get what he means, and I think this is something that we've been very particular about, and we were even talking about it with Joy. I would say, for the gender, and just citing, say the data that we've seen over the past 2 years, definitely the males joining in a program and completing it at the end of the day, the conversion rate is like crazy high. For the female, that would be about close to 15 to 20%, which just basically means what role are we all playing to improve and increase the gender balance in the tech ecosystem. I think we need more he for she ambassadors. We need more people just mentoring and supporting the women that we see even starting out, so that we can keep getting more of them. But definitely we keep seeing improvement. So I can't just fail to mention that we keep seeing improvement, but it can still be better.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mercy. I'm also very happy about what you guys are doing. I know for sure that we have people who are working and are trying to improve on their skills. Some of them are not even having a background in computer science or IT, but because of the program that you're running, I know most of my friends who are applying for it and gaining a lot from it. So thank you so much for the program.
Thank you so much, Ngesa. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we'll definitely be sure to extend future opportunities to the community via social media or even ads. So just be on the lookout for future opportunities in 2021, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. I think those are the questions that we're having. I don't know if you have any other thing, but probably I could hand it over to Charity to say something. Charity, can you hear us? And I also think that you are on mute.
Marvin, as you do that, Joy, you did mention about the giveaway.
Oh, yes. So just before we run off, we just have a quick giveaway. So you can answer in the comment section. So pretty much the question we have to ask is that if you can guess accurately the number of ALC programs and then any community developer programs that we have run. It's the options are have we run 2 programs? Have we done 3 programs? Have we done 7 programs, or have we done 4 programs in Kenya? So the person that gets the correct answer, please, you do have to be based in Kenya so we can get the swag over to you. But just select the correct answer, and then we will definitely check the chat and then reach out to you with your swag gift. So that's it from me and Mercy. It was such a great time. Please, we kindly apologize for the various glitches and hitches with the videos. We want to just make it really, really perfect. And we hope that it has been able to impact someone out there. And we hope we make the best of this opportunity. So, Mercy, any other parting words you'd like to give just before we hit our mark on our session?
I just want to say thanks everyone for joining the session. Even anyone that's going to join later on, I think that like I really commend anyone that was able to join this morning, like Sunday morning. I believe and I hope that this was a very valuable session to you. But just want to say, maximize any opportunities that you see out there. I think that's the major thing that I've seen being really helpful and really helpful for people that join our programs. Give it your all. So otherwise, I think I would love to just see the number before we wrap up and see like who is going to get the giveaway. We are going to get it to you.
Yeah,
all
sure.
Right,
I can see people making comments on the chat. I don't know if you go back to them later, but
yeah, we will. Yeah, we will for sure.
all right. Okay, then thank you so much for joining this call. This year we've had these sessions online because of the COVID thing, but at least also we've improved on skills and also improved on how to host events virtually. So thanks so much. Hopefully we'll be hosting you on our more events or upcoming events. All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care and talk to you soon.